Good evening. A Dunedin family is wondering if their father's life might have been saved had Telecom's 111 emergency service not broken down at the weekend. Their attempts to call an ambulance on the 111 service failed because of a major fault in the south. Mark Price reports.
It took 18 calls before Kathy Campbell's family finally got through to the ambulance service on Saturday. Her father had collapsed with a heart attack. Most of their calls were 111, but no one answered.
So did my father die because telephone was not operating? How many other people in New Zealand will die under the same circumstances?
She says by the time she got through to the ambulance service, delays had added up to 20 minutes. Time in this case had made a difference.
That's always difficult to say, but obviously the sooner we get there, the more chance there is of being able to do something for the person. So, you can't say yes or no to that, but it's one of those questions that will always be at the back of the family's mind, certainly.
Telecom spent more than 12 hours on Saturday sorting out problems with its Dunedin exchange. Today, Telecom offered its condolences.
Telecom regrets very much when this sort of thing happens. I really can't express how sad we were on Saturday night to hear about it. We're trying all the time to make the system better. We do all we can, and we are extremely sorry for the family and for the man himself.
He says the system can never be 100% perfect, but they're conducting an inquiry into why there was a fault and how it can be avoided in future.
There are alternative ways to get help in an emergency if Telecom's 111 service is faulty. Craig Womwell of the St John Ambulance in Dunedin explains what to do.
If they try 111 and it doesn't work, and of course people have to remember that after you dial 111 you often get a blank period on your phone of up to 5 seconds where nothing happens and you get silence. You have to dial 111 and then wait for that period, and then if nothing connects, then go to your phone book, and inside the phone book is their alternate phone number on about page 2, listed under ambulance, and there's one phone number for the whole of Otago to come through. And if they dial us on a normal toll line, if that's working, then that'll come through. Should that fail, then they should turn to their, in rural areas especially, turn to their local hospital or local medical practitioner, who will in most cases have got radio contact with ambulance control here in Dunedin.
And still on the subject of emergencies, the danger of fire in the old wooden houses of Dunedin's student area was spelled out dramatically at the weekend. One student flat was destroyed and neighbouring houses were damaged. Mark Price reports.
It was only a small house, but it went up with a roar. 8 appliances were sent, and it still took an hour to put out the fire. About 20 people were evacuated from surrounding flats that began to burn under the intense heat from the original fire.
I was sleeping off my drunkenness, and my flatmate woke me up. Just said, "Oh, look at this, Buck. There's a fire out here, a few sparks and that." So we just got out and had a bit of a look around. And they just said to get out of the place just as a precaution.
The fire service is investigating the cause. It believes the occupants of the flat were very lucky to escape.
Well, we don't attend any more fires in the student area really than we do elsewhere. However, a lot of the housing is really substandard and needs a lot of attention to it because of the nature of the non-fire resistive linings in the house.
So is there a greater risk to human life in the student area than in other parts of the city, do you think?
I would say this is possible because of the way that they live. I'm not saying that the standard of living is lower. What I am saying is they're crowded into houses, and the sort of old house that they're living in lends itself to fire.
He says this bed raised high above the floor to provide more space in a tiny bedroom is a hazard.
It happens quite regularly in accommodation. And of course with smoke and hot gases rising, then they're straight up in the danger zone right at the beginning of any fire.
The burnt-out house in 4th Street looked like this just a few weeks ago when the South Tonight went looking for substandard student housing.
Genetic detective work which can identify criminals from DNA samples is about to be applied down on the farm. Math scientists in Dunedin plan to offer simple tests that eliminate doubt about the pedigree of stud stock and identify which lambs are worth rearing. Kathy Graham reports.
Until now, lambs have had at least 5 months to gamble in the grass before they end up as lamb chops. Now it seems some may barely see the light of day. Farmers who take advantage of new tests math tech's developing will be able to determine at birth whether they have economic potential or not.
If we can check them out at birth, they can be culled accordingly and quickly. They don't have to be maintained on the farms at all. They just get their throats cut.
DNA fingerprinting has already proved its worth in identifying criminals. Tests can positively identify a suspect. Scientists here plan to offer a similar detection service to stud breeders.
And this provides evidence that this stag is the father and not this one here.
Through this technique, farmers will be able to establish the exact pedigree of their stud stock.
There is a problem with, it's not only rip-offs in terms of breeding, but of course there is rams over the fence and under the fence and into the paddocks and gates left open. These are common problems and we can solve these for the farmers.
Math tech scientists hope the government's impressed by what they're doing. Genetic analysis of farm animals is a new field of research, and according to this team, it's long overdue.
The Invercargill City Council is being asked to do more about a noise problem from the Hastings aluminium plant. The plant's operating on restricted hours now, but the Area Health Board is asking the council to get specialists to find out how the sound is affecting the locals. They also want Hastings to produce a management plan before it's allowed to resume evening operations. Top rhythmic gymnast Raywin Jack confirmed her top billing in the country when she won the Otago title in the weekend. Originally from Auckland, Jack showed she's made tremendous progress since the Commonwealth Games and deserves the top position she's taken over this year. Ken Nicholson watched her performance.
Rhythmic gymnastics has always been the poor little sister of artistic gym. But since the last Olympics, and more particularly in this country, the Auckland Commonwealth Games, it's a form of gymnastics which is gaining ground rapidly. And no wonder when the beauty of the sport is shown by gymnasts of Raywin Jack's ability, currently #1 in New Zealand and this year at Teachers College in Dunedin.
I think Raywin had a very good competition, and her I think her position as the current New Zealand champion has showed for the first time today, actually. You know, she just looked pretty sure of herself and she actually improved on the way through the competition, gave more and more to the audience.
Jack's main opposition in the Otago Champs was Catherine Hughes, south from Christchurch for the weekend, to try and strengthen her claims as #2 in the country. Like Jack, she's just returned from a tour of France, Russia, Japan and the States. But as the bid to fill the shoes of recently retired national champion Angela Walker continues, Raywin Jack took the Otago title comfortably to confirm her #1 ranking.
And just before we go, some good news for ski enthusiasts. Central Otago's had its first major snowfall of the season. Snow made some roads hazardous this morning, but they're all open now except Te Anau to Milford, which is closed because of avalanche danger. You need chains on the Crown Range too. But conditions have improved and locals and tourists are enjoying snowy scenery and looking forward to skiing. Coronet Peak has just announced it's going to be opening on Wednesday. That's it from us. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.